Folks, welcome back to another episode of Mayhem in the Midsouth. Today, Gunfire in God's house, South Carolina. It's 9:05 p.m., June 17th, 2015. Charleston Police Department started getting calls about a shooting at Emmanuel AME Church, multiple. Information was coming in that multiple people were down and they had an active shooter. Suspect was described as a male white, sandy blonde hair, about 21 years of age, about 5'9", gray sweatshirt and jeans. Later on, it would come out that suspect was armed with a Glock Model 41 .45 caliber handgun. Now, he had shot the minister and parishioners from that church. He had then fled the scene. Now, the officers cleared the church and there were 2 survivors. Now, the resource material would later state that the suspect had been carrying 8 magazines for his pistol. Now, this was obviously a hate crime. Male white going into a predominantly black church, executing 9 human beings who were all black. So there was no guesswork as to the motivation of the suspect. Now, this shooting would be one of the largest mass shootings at a place of worship in the history of the United States. What they would learn later is that the suspect had showed up for Bible study. He was welcomed into the church as churches should do. He had sat down with the other parishioners and the minister. They'd had Bible study. Now, they said during the discussion part over the scripture that the suspect became argumentative. Now, at the point where the group closed their eyes to pray, suspect stood up, pulled a handgun out of his fanny pack, and he began shooting the church members. Now, the information shows he reloaded his handgun 5 times. So now the information goes out because the suspect's on the loose. They got a description of the car. So now they put out a description on the suspect. They got video footage of the suspect, car he was in. They put this information out for public consumption. Now, the shooter's father, his uncle, and one of his half-sisters all called in and told the police who it was. So the next day, about 10:45 or so in the morning, so about 13 hours after the attack, the suspect is arrested in Shelby, North Carolina, which is about 245 miles away from the shooting scene. Now, he's still armed with his pistol that he used during the homicides. He did not resist, and he followed the lawful orders of the officers. He's taken into custody. Now, how the police were able to capture him, a citizen driving down the road, she seized a car. It was a black Hyundai Elantra with a South Carolina plate and had a 3-flag Confederate States of America bumper decoration. Now, he traveled along on U.S. Route 74. Now, this lady, she remembered the information from watching the news. Said she got up close enough driving that she looked in there, and sure enough, he looked like the suspect had that distinctive haircut of his. So now she didn't know quite what to do. She didn't call the police, but at least she called somebody. She called her boss. So now her boss calls the local police up there, and this good citizen, she followed that car for approximately 35 miles until the police swooped in and got him. Now, according to the information provided by the FBI during their interrogation, he said he was heading to Nashville, Tennessee. Don't know what he was going to do up there. Now, information shows that suspect may have been planning this attack for up to 6 months prior. Now, he had some friends that knew that he was up to something, and I think, according to the resource material, he may have even mentioned that he was wanting to kill people. I do believe. Now, it's unfortunate nobody called the police. This seems to happen pretty prevalent. Nobody wants to call the police and stop a madman. Now, the suspect, he was tried by the federal government, found guilty, sentenced to death. State tried him, they found him guilty as well. Don't remember if he got a death sentence or if they gave him life, no parole. Either way, the feds got him, so when President Biden pardoned a good number of federal death row inmates, one of the three he did not pardon was this suspect here, who most deservedly needs to be executed by the United States government for his crimes.